Great Lakes Prepping here. I'm very excited about today's video, and you should be too, because for the first time ever, it's not about me. Today I'm talking with the one and only Cowboy Kent Rollins and his wife slash co-star Shannon. Now, if you haven't heard of Kent Rollins, you've probably been living in a bunker for the last few years. And since this is a prepper channel, that's not even a criticism, as I recognize the distinct possibility that some of you, in fact, have been living in a bunker for the past few years. Kent Rollins is an accomplished author, humorist, storyteller, television personality, Chuck Wagoneer, YouTuber, and 20 other things I'm sure I'm forgetting. Kent and his wife have built an amazing online presence that showcases Kent's authentic cowboy cooking, as well as all sorts of other great stuff. To my absolute delight, Shannon and Kent are here with me today via Skype to talk a little bit about food, life, and the weird world we're living in right now. Kent, Shannon, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me today.
Oh, John, it's our pleasure. We thank you for taking time out of your day just to have us on.
Well, I couldn't be happier about it. So, obviously, you're known for your cowboy cooking, but you're also known for your tales and your stories and your wisdom and your general life experience. And I have a couple of questions to maybe run by you that touch on a little bit of all of that.
I'd be glad to hear them, my friend.
All right. Well, the first thing I thought of is, in the time of the internet and our modern reliance on pretty much instant access to information at all times, what are your thoughts on the value of some good old-fashioned knowledge and skills and values, particularly in the times of uncertainty like we're in?
Well, long before internet, email, computers, cell phones, there was a thing called let's just get together and be family. And wisdom was passed down from me from generations and generations from old cowboys who stood tall as giant oak trees when I worked around them. And they had so many things that I wished I would have recorded that I forgot now. When I was 8, 9 years old, they'd tell me things and I think, oh, men are crazy, but it all hits home. It's sure everything's within reach if you've got a computer. But the thing that has got looked over to me is the act of just being able to share it with people that you're gathered around. The way you prepare something without a recipe when you don't have one. Just throw it in there and let's find out what happens. That's been a great experimentation for me all my life.
Yeah, I think people are having to get more back to their roots and kind of improvise with things. Like we get a lot of questions. We can't find this at the grocery store. What do you do? So I think people have to get creative. However, I'm kind of a little bit on the other side too, where I think this is the perfect time for the internet because there's a lot of people that, maybe in a way have not been prepared for the situation we're in. So where do you go to get information? How do you make buttermilk when you don't have buttermilk in the fridge? So, and we've seen this a bunch on our channel, and I'm sure you have too, people coming looking for information. And it's a great way, in sort of a different way, for us to all come together because Google and YouTube have been so dynamic right now in helping people in a positive way.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. I was thinking about this recently. If this had happened 5 years ago, maybe we'd be okay. 15 years ago, we'd be in a whole different sort of pickle because, the company I work for, we're all working remotely. That wouldn't have been possible. And the same is for so many other people. And the access to information, I do agree with you that I think because people maybe these days don't keep a constant bank of knowledge because they don't need to, they can access it. But if for some reason they couldn't anymore, I don't know what kind of what kind of trouble some people would be in, myself included. My second question is more food related. In your videos, you've talked, I'm sure a few times that I've heard about having grown up rather poor, but that your family always ate well. Can you think of any quick tips maybe for people in general who are on a really tight budget right now, but want to eat well?
Well, there's always, if you got a can of beans in your pantry, you can get by. You can do so many things with beans. My mother made pie crust out of them. We made
Really?
fried sausage patties out of them. You can put them with any kind of meat, mix them with hamburger, sausage, venison, elk, buffalo, whatever you got on hand. And my dad always told me beans are a substitute for meat. And we eat a lot of beans growing up. My mother made it stretch a long ways. But look in that pantry. Don't be afraid to grab something out of there you think might not go with something, because a lot of times they'll pair up pretty well.
This is the best time in the world to like reach in back in the pantry where you think maybe something's even expired. Like that's when you start getting really creative on stuff. And this is the perfect time to do like play around with what I call fillers.
Yeah.
So Kent said beans or rice, like things that we usually overlook, or it's maybe just like a small ingredient. Like let's beef that up a little bit. Looking, and we've kind of talked about this too, looking at cheaper cuts of meat that get overlooked. So, like the chicken fried steak, it's just a tenderized round steak.
Yeah.
It's really versatile. Pork, chicken.
Chicken and pork are probably as cheap as they've been in a long time. And with more plants probably shutting down, chicken's going to stay cheap for a little while, and then it's going to go chicken, beef, pork, all of it will probably raise the price as it goes along. But there's so many value cuts out there. Even if you do have to splurge a little and say buy a pork roast or a chuck roast, there's so much you can do with it. You mix something with it, instead of having one meal out of it, you can make 3.
When you were growing up, either of you really, was your family big into things like canning and gardening and pickling and all that kind of thing?
My mother was. We always had a huge garden. She canned everything. That old dirt cellar was always full of canned goods that was down there that she had put up. Some of it I wasn't for sure what it was when I was little. But, she could change it and make you eat it.
Yeah, that's funny.
What about you, Shannon?
No, we didn't. I grew up in northern Nevada, and we didn't. We kind of have a rough growing season up there. It's high desert, can be rough summers, harsh winters. So we never got into that. But I am enjoying our garden now. So
yeah.
Oh, that's good.
To make up for lost time.
Good. The gardening season in Michigan isn't super long, but it gets so hot and humid and up here that it works pretty well for the months that we have.
Yeah.
I know people have been gearing up pretty hard right now for that.
A lot of people overlook it too, John. My mother canned a lot of meat. It'd be rabbit. We didn't have any deer at the time I was growing up, but we canned a lot of chicken, a lot of rabbit, and a lot of tough cuts of meat like you could use for stew meat.
Yeah. My next question is more about, I guess, state of mind. You're someone who exudes positivity in the sense that you seem to really, get the most out of and truly enjoy all that life has to offer. What would you say to people, maybe just as some general advice, who feel like they're living under, a cloud of worry or anxiety right now amid the current state of things?
Well, we've said it for many years and keep saying it on everything we got. Every day's a great day above the grass. Mm-hmm. There's blessings everywhere you look around. Sometimes you may not see them, but you open your eyes, you'll find them. And that's what truly counts in life, is the little things that come along. But I know there's a lot of people who are shut up in a house or an apartment, and they're thinking, man, I'm going crazy. This is a time that you can reflect on what you're doing in life, how you're going to go about it, and just be peaceful. Just be happy that you have that day. Everybody got a phone nowadays. Reach out, call your friends, talk to your neighbors, send them some pictures. There's a lot of things closed, but hearts are always open.
Yeah, you mentioned pick up the phone. I think I've spent more time talking on the telephone than I have in the past 10 years cumulatively.
Yeah.
Reach out to people I haven't actually heard their voice in years, that kind of thing. And sometimes they answer and say, "What's the matter? Why are you calling me?" It's like, I don't know. I don't got anything else to do right now.
Yeah, we put a lot of people say, you know, like for them, their little blessing has been much more time with the family and just quality time that they couldn't, and things, you know, like because things are shut down, it's not even going out with the family. It's just really looking in and focusing at the basics. And I think that's what this is all kind of come down to, is what's basic, what's important, what's simple, and yet we can still all get by and thrive.
Yeah, you know, I'm somebody that I think has was born with a certain inclination towards pessimism and maybe even some paranoia. It's probably what drove me to have an interest in, you know, doomsday prepping or whatever this is. But I because of that I can acknowledge it, I think about it a lot and really try quite you know, deliberately to think about things in a more positive way.
Yeah.
And watching videos like the ones that you guys make, it brings happiness to me in a way that I think it's because other people are obviously living life and loving it, and that bleeds over to me, and I really absorb a lot of that. So I think that's what, well, I originally found you guys because I was trying to figure out the right way to do Dutch oven cooking. I spend a lot of time in the national forest in northern Michigan, and been going there. My dad used to take me and my brothers there camping when we were kids, and now I take him there. And you know, we dabbled in Dutch oven cooking in Boy Scouts, but never really got into it. They're like, dump this can of peaches in there and throw some crap on top and cook it to death. So I want to make a roast or something. I want to do something nice. So that's how I came across your channel. But I think I came back, and a lot of people came back in part because of that the videos are the opposite of anxiety and pessimism.
We try to make people feel like family to us, because that's what they are. When you watch, when everybody else is watching, I want them to know you're here with us, you know, because we're all in this together. We've always claimed that all of us are family, and if we can share something just besides food, and that's maybe laughter or maybe a little hope, then hey, we're just doing what God has given us the gift to do.
Yeah, I loved your story about the dog and the rabbit.
Yeah,
I can't recall his name.
Oh, Frank.
Frank, that's right. My next question is more of a silly, fun one. It's a hypothetical. Be it quarantine or doomsday or for any other reason, you're stuck in the house, and for some reason you only have 12 ingredients to cook with and eat for a solid month. Now, the supply of those ingredients are inexplicably unlimited, but only those 12 ingredients. What would you pick?
Coffee, sugar, flour, dried ancho chilies, chipotle peppers in adobo sauce, lots of 80-20 ground beef, eggs, bacon, canned milk.
Oh, that's a good one.
Our seasoning and yeast and some butter. I can make anything out of all that, whether it be dessert, breakfast, or anything else you want to have. So we're going to start with coffee. You know, that's probably the best thing of all.
Yeah.
Yours are much more practical, because I would be like pizza, cheese, and bread. That could just live on that.
Yeah. You could blow the 12 ingredients just on a pizza, huh?
Yeah.
There's a lot of crossover with your list and mine. I definitely didn't pick the chilies. I went with you know, the eggs, bacon, beef, onions, oil, butter, milk, salt, flour, and then I had to pick a couple just because I need some nutritional value, and that's spinach and orange juice.
Spinach and orange juice?
Yep.
Is that what? Oh.
I could live on all that other stuff, but I might not want to
little
a week.
Was there anything nutritional in yours? Like anything green?
Yeah, the ancho chilies were once green.
They're not really green.
At one time they were green. They're a vegetable.
Maybe throw in a salad on your list there.
And you can always have plenty of dried beans. If you've got dried beans or peas, you know, you're in good shape. You're never going to
swap that out for the beans. Yeah.
Beans is always
I mean, get rid of some of them vegetables, John.
Well, I've only got the one, but maybe that's too many.
You don't need it.
You don't need that spinach. Just get some more beans.
My list today is a lot different than it was when I was 20. I bet
Oh, I'm sure.
it probably would have been mostly I don't know, well, pizza or taco ingredients, I guess.
Yes, yes. Which is not a bad idea.
I really appreciate again that you guys took the time to talk with me about this. And since you're here, I know that you published a cookbook a couple years back, and it was very popular. And you've more recently published a new one. And I was wondering if you wanted to say anything about that.
Well, it's something we worked on, and we took a lot of the title from our YouTube watchers. We have a large faith-based group, a large family group, and a very large I Love America group. And so Faith, Family, and the Feast is something that we sort of worked really hard on for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And it was something that
we had to fight for it.
Sort of had to fight with some of them to say, hey, this is what we're going to do. And it couldn't have come out at a better time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is what people need right now. There's a lot of faith, a lot of family, and hey, let's have a feast, even if it is beans and spinach and orange juice.
Still a feast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and our first cookbook, A Taste of Cowboy, that was kind of the introduction to us and primarily how we cook on for working ranches all across the West. We cook for anywhere from ranches as big as like 5,000 acres maybe to 300,000 acres.
Wow.
We're out anywhere from a week to, I think the longest we did was
5.5.
5.5 weeks. So it talked a lot about the history of the cowboy, chuck wagon, and what at least I'm most proud of is on both of our books is that we completely did them. I mean, we had our editor in our publishing house, but we did the writing, all of the pictures, food.
Wow.
Food styling, which we didn't know was a thing until we had to do it. So, but I think that's what it is all ours,
Yeah.
and I think that's what makes it.
And
unique.
Shanna's a great photographer, and she takes all the pictures, and she will definitely tell you food is a whole lot harder to photograph than cowboys or scenery.
Yeah,
We want people to know, it's more than a cookbook, both of them. It's like a coffee table book that you can get more out of. There's recipes in there, not just for food, but for happiness and hope as well.
Well, we wanted both of them to say, like, even if you got this cookbook and you never cooked a recipe out of it, it would still be of value. And we tried to do that with the pictures and their story and poetry and tidbits of information. So I think it's unique in what it offers.
And they have both done well.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. It's I assume it can be purchased on Amazon and maybe also your website.
Yeah, any major book retailer, they'll be carrying it, and we have signed copies on our website as well.
Just KentRollins.com.
That's great. One last question, real quick. Are there any circumstances under which you guys would give any consideration to adopting a 40-year-old man?
Only if you give up eating that spinach, John. And
You
I'll
might-
have to speak to the Beagle. He's in charge of all adoptions. He didn't really want us to adopt Duke, but we did,
You know what? They might love my dog. I wish I could move the camera to show her, but she's hiding under a table right now because she's kind of a scaredy dog. But great. Well, I had a lot of fun doing this, and I sincerely hope our paths cross again, and maybe we do this again sometime. And I'll be watching.
Congratulations on your channel
Yes.
and all the stuff you're sharing, because I think this is a great time for it, and people are definitely looking for that.
I think so too. There's definitely been a surge lately of activity, and I focus a lot on food preservation and things like that, and people are interested in that right now.
Yes, absolutely.
So great. Well, thanks again, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll do the same.
Awesome. And
thank you, John. And give that dog a pat on the head.
Yeah.
I sure will. She'll like that. All right. See you later, guys. Thank you.
Be safe. God bless.
Bye. How cool was that, huh? If you haven't checked out Kent Rollins' YouTube channel or website, I really recommend that you do. I talk a lot about cooking and things like that, but he's absolutely the guy. If you want to know about Dutch oven or cast iron stuff, that's the place to go. And be sure to check out their 2 books and all their other products. They got some great seasonings and tools and all sorts of stuff. I really appreciate Kent and Shannon taking the time to speak with me today, and I really hope to do it again in the future. But after the video, I will say this. I had a talk with Lena here, and she was kind of wondering when she gets to have her Skype call with Beeg and Duke. Well, maybe another time. But that's it for now. I hope you liked it. I sure had a good time. And until next time, this is Great Lakes Prepping.